We are going to make an infinity scarf today. Infinity scarves are a really easy way to just kind of dress up your stuff. It doesn't take a lot of fabric. It doesn't take a lot of time. It works best with 60-inch wide fabric. And you can make it two ways. So like this is a flat one with no turn in it. The ones I'm showing today, you can also put a little twist in it so it looks a little bit more fancy. It adds about 1.5 minutes to the process, so it's not that big a deal. It loops around your neck, and you can either wear it, as a, under your jacket, or you can loop it and put it over your head again, and it's more like a muff. It's really easy to make something that makes it look like you put a lot of effort into your outfit. Some people do that. The ones I'm going to show you today are made with one continuous piece of fabric. That's why a 60-inch wide bolt works better. This one is rayon. I like it with either rayon or minky. And I know we talk about minky sometimes, and the reason I'm going to demo it with minky today is I want you guys not to be afraid of minky or rayon. And I'm going to show you a couple of tips that will make you less freaked out by both of those things. So what I have is, let's see. Okay, so we talked about ripping when we talked about wide backs. We're going to talk about ripping rayon today. As I'm running upstairs frantically to make these samples, I asked Sherry, I was like, hey, can you cut me 2/3 of a yard? Because that's what it takes, 2/3 of a yard of this pink rayon. She cut me off a chunk like she normally does. I normally would rip it, and I forgot to say that. And so I get it upstairs, and it's like, whoa. Regular fabric on the bolt was perfectly straight. This is how much different it was from one end to the other. So I cut this end and started ripping. So people get freaked out sometimes because they think there's more waste if you rip. This is how much waste you have if you don't. Just want to show you how straight this piece of fabric is because I ripped both ends of it. So this is a piece of rayon, and it is exactly the same width on this end as it is on this end because I ripped it. That's really handy in this technique because you just want to sew a really long strip. You don't want to be fussing with it. These are exactly the same width. Ripping is your friend. I know it freaks you out, and I know, but once you get over it and once you see how well it works, this is exactly the same on both ends. And all you do, you start with 2/3 of a yard of fabric, so 24 inches of fabric, and you're going to sew a tube. So all the way along from and I left the selvage in there on purpose for a couple of reasons, and I'm going to show you why. You're going to sew along your ripped edges all the way down, and you make a tube. So you have this really long tube. We can all do that. And I do a wider than a 1/4 inch seam allowance on this. That is my strip stick. I have my tube of rayon that I have sewn. I'm going to slide the stick inside the rayon. I'm going to slip it inside there, and I'm going to open up the seam here. And then I'm just going to press this open. What the stick does is it opens up the fabric for you so that you're not pressing it one way or the other. So you end up with this really nice open seam. The hard part with rayon is just getting the stick underneath the seam. So once you get it where it's on there, you're just going to iron along the edge of the seam, and you're going to press it all the way open. Okay, then you're going to slide the whole thing down. We're just going to slide the strip stick down, and we're going to press this open all the way across. So I wanted to show you the strip stick so you could understand how that works. I have a tube that is pressed open. I'm going to take and stick my arm all the way down the tube, and we're going to turn it right way out. So I showed you my last infinity scarf was flat, right? So it just looked like like this. There was no twist in it. Okay, it just looked flat. Now, if you want to make it look more like a Mobius strip, so here's your two seams. We're going to put the seams together. Now, I want to make a twist in this. So I'm going to take one seam and I'm just going to turn it around once. Make sure I did that right. So here's this. I'm going to twist it one time. And then I'm going to go back and put it right sides together. Take the two seam allowances and I'm going to match these up. And then I'm going to offset them a little bit because I don't want all the bulk of that seam in that one spot. And since you're sewing this together like a ring, it doesn't really matter if the seams match up. So we are going to just pin this together. And you're going to keep pinning all the way around as far as you can get. Okay, so we're going to pin. This is where it gets a little bit like, you know, wrestling a pig, because you got to keep putting these pieces together all the way around, and it gets to where it gets really kind of rough to match them up. Just pin it all the way around until you can't comfortably pin it anymore without sewing over the seam. So we talked about Minky. This is the same process done in Minky, and I pinned all the way around until I couldn't pin anymore and not stitch over the edge. So you're gonna have an opening. You're gonna have an opening that's about 5 to 6 inches wide. That's okay. The opening on the Minky is gonna be slightly larger because it's thicker. That's okay too. So I've already stitched. This much is open. You'll see the opening is about, I guess that's probably maybe 5 inches wide, but you have a nice big opening there. Now on the Minky, I'm inclined to top stitch it if you have matching thread, because by the time you zhuzh it all up around your neck, you're not going to see the top stitch. But if that makes you itchy, there's no reason why you can't just whip stitch this closed with a matching thread. This one I put the twist in. See, it doesn't hang flat. The thing I like about Minky is now you have this big fluffy teddy bear thing around your neck, okay? So it really looks like a big warm wool cowl almost. This color is great for this time of year, and it makes this really quick, either 10-minute accessory, 10-minute gift. You can do all kinds of fun things with it. If you have an embroidery machine and you do some embroidery on this, it looks super fancy and crazy expensive, and it's not. So that's what I have to show you guys this week. If you have questions or requests or things you would like to see me demo, let me know. And on that note, I will see you Wednesday. So be good. Bye.